Well, hi everyone, it's Peter from the Paint Toolkit, and yes, I'm back here with my very good friend. He's Belgium over there in Canada.
Hello,
Hey, listen,
Pete.
Keith,
Mhm.
we were talking off camera
Mhm.
this week about this. I'm not sure if it's the right term, parable, or I'm not really sure what would you would call it. It's about the upstream, downstream
Mhm.
scenario,
Yeah.
and I think personally, I mean, when we was having our pain toolkit conversations recently,
Mhm.
I remember Dr. Dave Flusk over there in Newfoundland. He was mentioning that trying to get funding for a service, like it's not just
Mhm.
a problem for Dave, but it seems to be a problem for other healthcare workers or
Yeah.
professionals around the world.
Mhm.
But there's that layer in healthcare.
Mhm.
We've got the medical schools who supply the teaching about pain management or supportive self-management, and then so they go off they become like healthcare professionals, etc. Then there's us, but in that middle, there's a little layer
Mhm.
there where
Yeah.
people who are responsible for making decisions like where the funding is going to go, etc.
Yeah.
And I always think, and that's what I think we both uh, talked about, where that middle layer in healthcare is these policymakers, decision makers, do they really
Mhm.
understand how useful supportive self-management is and how it can actually save time, uh, money, resources,
Mhm.
etc. I mean, what's your take on it?
So, uh, so to answer that question, those that sit in that policymaker, funder decision in healthcare, do they know, do they understand that investing in supported self-management saves money? I would say a blanket statement, no. And that's because if they did, we'd see it happening. So what we, want to talk about, and I love the upstream, downstream. I would call it an analogy. I don't call it what you want, but it's just a great way to paint the picture of like why why is supported self-management important? And it's when we look at the upstream, downstream analogy, it's about, and we're going to use the term investing, and that doesn't necessarily mean just like monetary and a return on your investment if you're in business or a banker. It means in investing in people, because we're talking about people's lives. It does have a financial benefit in the healthcare system, but primarily we're talking about people's lives. And upstreaming and downstreaming is you when you provide the resources to healthcare providers and people who live with pain early on, you catch them early in their pain journey. You catch them upstream. And what that means is before they get too far down their journey of not being supported, having a healthcare system that doesn't really understand what they need, not providing any kind of supported self-management education, and what that means is people just languish along weeks, months, years into this journey, and now they're way further downstream in that journey. And what happens is the further downstream they get, their lives, their quality of lives, even their pain, their health gets worse. And it can get into these points where it becomes almost a crisis. And now you're starting to see way more interactions with the healthcare system. You're seeing more and more people going into the emergency departments or the A&Es. They're, using more and more medications. They're trying various interventions. And these are all very, very costly. So that's the cost to the healthcare system. And then the cost to the person is their quality of life is in the basement because they haven't been well supported. They're not living well with their pain at all. They're trying all these different things. And that's the downstream. When we think about like somebody who's fallen into a river and they can't swim and they're drowning, and you catch them at the last minute as they're downstream and you pull them out of the water. Now you got to revive them. You have to do all of these things. It's not very effective as compared to catching them before they even get in the water, or maybe they just start to wade in a little bit. And before they go in, you pull them back by saying, here are the things that we can provide and help for you. So you will never go downstream and be fighting all the way down, and we'll have to pull you out and do the best we can to just revive you and hope that you have the best life you can. So upstreaming and downstreaming, I think is it's just a beautiful way to paint the picture. And hopefully this shows the decision makers that if we invest dollars today early on in effective pain education and supported self-management, that dollar gets returned multiple times. I don't have any stats on this, but I'm going to say 3 to 4 times in the system in not impacting the healthcare system down the road with all sorts of acute care interventions and all sorts of other healthcare interactions. But most importantly, you've taken somebody and you've improved their quality of life early on, and that allows them to live better, have a better, social life. Maybe some people can go back to work. Like there's so much good that comes from it. You're improving people's quality of life, and that alone is worth the investment. But for those that have to fund it, they're going to save money downstream, like
Yeah,
huge dollars downstream. So upstreaming, downstreaming, it's a simple business metric, but it's about improving people's quality of life. And I just think it's so fundamentally important for those that control where the dollars go.
yeah. I think Robbie, I think healthcare in many, not just here in the UK, I'm guessing in Canada and other
Hmm.
places, the healthcare seems to be a very reactive healthcare where
Yes.
they'll do something, but only when someone,
Yeah.
they're noticing that, hey, why do these people keep ending up in A&E or ER?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, where can we stop that? And as you say,
Yeah.
that story, the upstream story, I first met
Yeah.
it, come across it, um, oh, lots of years ago, a little video where the guy, was sitting by the river. There's the
Hmm.
guy, he comes down and he's sort of sitting down by the river, and all of a sudden, someone comes down the river, say, help me, I'm drowning." So you jump in,
Hmm.
pull them out,
Yeah.
call the ambulance, and then you go and sit back down again. Then someone else comes down,
Yeah.
help me. And you think after after 6 or 7 people come by, you're pulling out all these people out of the river. You think, why are these people falling in the river? And then you go upstream and you find out that the fence is broken or the gate's broken.
Hmm. Yeah.
They're looking in the
Right.
river, but they're falling in. I mean,
Yeah.
that's an easy peasy um, uh, explanation, really. But if you go upstream, mend the gate, mend the fence, etc., or invest in people, uh,
Hmm.
support your self management, etc., then the return on investment is fantastic. Like because the main thing is getting people back in the driving seat, back on track.
Yeah.
They go
Yeah.
back to work, so then
Hmm.
instead of relying on social care, etc., they're now part
Hmm.
of the workforce, so they're paying taxes. So it's a win-win. But so that's the message, really, I guess, from us today, Keith, is for
Yeah.
those people who are the decision makers, the policy makers,
Hmm.
go, get people upstream, start teaching supportive self-management from the get-go. Don't wait until you're doing rehab. Start thinking about it that they're doing prehab, like.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, what's
Yeah.
that quote? The quote from our International Association for the Study of Pain. I don't know the quote off the top of my head, but they're talking about, getting in early rather than
Hmm.
not later with the
Yeah.
pain supported pain self management messages,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah, yeah, it's they talk about it, and I like to say that pain supported self-management isn't adjunct to healthcare, meaning it's not something that's just kind of added on. It's not something you do while you're waiting to go see the specialist to get your into it. It is the fundamental first step because we know there's a certain percentage of people who are, if they're caught upstream before they ever go through that broken fence and fall into the river, that if they get the education and they get the self-management tools, they deviate out of the healthcare system. And for the most part, they go on living their lives. Every now and then, they might dip back in because they need some support. So they might be, allied health, they might need their physio or see the doctor, but they're just popping in every now and then for a little bit of help. But for the most part, they're self-managing their lives and they're living a better quality of life. And if that alone isn't the return on the investment, let alone the dollars, then I don't know what it is. Because aren't we here to help people and give them the best quality of life they can? I think we are.
Yeah. I suppose to finish on, I guess in my own case, with when I had back pain back in the day, I was one of these people that had to haul out the river, uh,
Hmm.
and I think I was told by some, I think there's some people at the Department of Works and Pensions, as it was then called, that I cost the British taxpayer about 340K. Then that's
Wow.
so I'm not working. All the
Hmm.
interventions that
Yep.
I had
Yep.
with the NHS,
Yep.
etc.
Hmm.
And then I got told, since I've been back at work since 2000, 1999, 2000, that that figure would be more like 500,000 now.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's because I felt I was in the river,
Hmm.
stuck in the water, whatever.
Yep.
But I got,
Yep.
I was lucky enough to find someone who hauled me out the river
Hmm.
in '96, well, via a pay management program.
Hmm.
That got me back on track. But so the cost to not think the cost to society,
Hmm.
to the taxpayer, the numbers are astronomical. Like,
Yep.
what's the number now, Keith, of how many people? If we talk about pain management, people
Hmm.
with pain, is it 1 in 5 around the world living with pain?
That's the accepted stat. I personally think it's probably a little more than that, but all of the statistics say 1 in 5. So we're talking 20, 21% of the
Yeah,
population. Yeah. Yeah. And so that, your story right there of the cost, like if nothing else, and I understand policymakers, have to manage money. There's your answer right there. If you aren't able to see it through the lens of humanity and say that we're, improving people's lives, which we are,
yeah,
think of the money that you're saving. So that dollar today invested in Pete, look how much it saves down the road over your lifetime. So if you were running healthcare like a business, which I totally understand you can't like private industry, but there are things that you can do, and investing wisely early on saves a whole lot of money on the healthcare system, and that means you can do a whole lot more for other people who need it. So yeah.
and I've been paying me taxes since 1999, paying
Right?
tax.
Like that's the thing. Like you
Yes,
become back, you contribute to society again,
yeah,
and your life is better.
yeah.
Like, like it just seems so fundamentally simple. But if it helps to look at it through a lens of dollars and cents, which it really is important. We are in countries that have single payer or taxpayer funded systems, so it's really important that we spend that money wisely. That's savings. It's just that's low hanging fruit right there. That's low hanging fruit to pluck and save a whole bunch of money. So yeah,
So,
upstream it. Mhm.
I do have some upstream. Listen,
Yep,
those people watching this or listening to this, if you need any, want to talk to myself or Keith about this, we're only too pleased to talk to you about how you can start saving, stop people falling in the river.
yep.
So just drop us an email or message, stuff like, and we'll definitely get back to you because that's part of our remit now is to support healthcare professionals, people living with pain. But listen, we want to support you guys out there who are the
Hmm.
policy makers, the decision makers,
Yes.
because we know a lot of you, support yourself management may be new to you, and we want to
Yep.
make it easy peasy lemon squeezy
Hmm.
simple for you so that it's
Yeah.
easy to and a little bit a little bit of work, a little bit of investment will really pay dividends to you. So there you go.
Yep. Yep. Sounds good. Hmm.
Okay. Well, be in touch with us. Take care. Look after
All
yourself.
right.
Thanks again, Keith. Take care
Yeah.
now.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.